All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees for Jefferson County Health Department for the September 28, 2023. It is 4:15, 4:16 or so. I will now call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pig,
I am here.
Mr. Deal,
Here.
Ms. Stidham. Here. Dr. Henry, Ms. Davis. Here.
Mr. Deal, would you please read our JCH mission, vision, and purpose, please?
Okay. Mission of the Jefferson County Health Department is to champion positive health outcomes and behaviors through innovative programs and community engagement. Vision of the Health Department is to advance the health and safety of Jefferson County. And the purpose of the health center, as stated in the revised Missouri statutes, is the Jefferson County Health Department is established, maintained, and operated for the improvement of health of all inhabitants of Jefferson County.
Thank you, sir. I believe at this time, Ms. Vollmer has a advisement for us and the board.
I appreciate to let the board know that I have a committee that I have to leave for at 5:15. I want to let you know in advance.
Okay. Call for approval of the agenda. I believe there's an item to be removed. Is that correct, Mr. Deal?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Under new business, extension of executive director contract, we're removing that this time.
Yes, I'm sorry. Number 5 under new business. A large section of the director's contract includes duties as outlined by the bylaws of Jefferson County Health Department, which are currently undergoing updating. And until that's finished, it's be difficult for us to recommend an updated contract. So
You make a motion to remove that?
yes, I make a motion to table that until such time as we're able to propose a recommended contract.
First and second, any discussion on that? To remove it? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Is there any other changes? All right, not hearing any. I will entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion carries. So before there are no guests, so we'll move forward. Approval of the August 15th, 2023 meeting minutes.
My motion to approve the minutes from August 5th.
Have a first, have a second.
Second.
Having first and second, is there any discussion on those? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the August 2023 expenditures. Motion. Let me go back here and give that. I apologize, I didn't have my stuff in front of me. All right, that's for $325,420.51.
The motion to approve those August expenditures.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Having first and second, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Ma'am?
several things come to my attention here. A question about the Chestnut Health Systems. We're paying them checks, approving checks today for approximately $29,000. Most of it is called contractor for LPHDI. And what does that mean?
Local Public Health Disparities Initiative. It is a state contract.
Okay. And so we're partnering with Chestnut, and some of our money is going to them to help them.
Correct.
Thank you for the answer. I appreciate it. Also, I'm noticing that, we somewhere down the line, have, we contracted with a Route 3 film system company in regards to creating a film to build awareness of Aspen. 50% of the production is 7,500. Another check back here on the last page is another 7,500. What I was looking at before the meeting, there was an invoice and it mentioned $45,000, up to $45,000 for this film for Aspen. And so I guess I'm confused. So my question is, if Aspen is moving to another entity and we're going to no longer be a part of it, why is this atrocious amount of money coming at us now? And how is all this working? You know, this is $15,000 right now, this month being paid to this film company to promote and Aspen awareness. So what's going on?
So in response to that, again, this is grant funded. I would like to confirm with our comptroller, Kristen, that this is funding from the Mental Health Fund Board.
From the Jefferson Foundation.
Thank you. From the Jefferson Foundation that was specifically funded to Aspen to create these films.
So
This
I
was
guess my
grant
question
project.
didn't get answered.
This
It
is
was
grant
it was a
funded.
grant project.
So what I'm trying to say is, at what point are we going to quit paying for Aspen expenses?
So the Aspen transition will be completed on 10/10/23. We are actually, I'm confirming with Kristen again, just making sure. Our grant expenses will be paid for Aspen through 8/31/23. After that time, JCHD will be invoicing Aspen for reimbursement for, so Aspen will be paying JCHD to pay out the final invoices for the items that were underneath the Jefferson Foundation grant.
That is correct, right?
So, Mr. Chairman, I would think that our board and the public would like to see, you know, those grants that came in. Is that presently on the website now? The amounts of the grants? Maybe that,
I'm not sure if we got those.
and then
yet.
how much we've
The
spent?
dashboard will be, after today, we'll get it posted,
We have a dashboard, it's in your packet.
That was in the
I
past.
think that's always been a question, you know, how much money has come in through grants and, you know, how much is being spent and is there plenty of money for that, you know? We're hearing that it is, but they'd like to see it, you know, in black and white. Okay, so, wow, that's a lot of money. Okay, the next thing is, during the, investigation, that our director, initiated against myself.
You have a question other around
The question
anything to do
is,
with that investigation?
yes,
What
the question is,
other questions
well,
do you
but
have?
on public record, and the public is watching this and they are interested and, you know, they need to understand that this company that was hired to investigate me has made out invoices and is being paid today, some checks. And they need to understand, what the check, the
All
amounts
that-
of the checks
All
were.
those are already posted on the website.
They have no idea how to find
Well,
that.
sure they do.
I'm
Are you
placing it
saying
on public
those
record. I
people-
have the
those people
floor.
are smart enough to figure out how they can get there?
I know you don't want it to be
Clarify
said,
that posted
but
with
it's gonna be
the-
said. So anyway, the investigation that was conducted against myself cost the Jefferson County Health Department, not grant funded, over $17,000. And that's not including what Miss Coleman invoiced us for at the end of last month's meeting. She asked us to pay her $32,000 just for the Aspen expenses. So that was for the Aspen expenses, but that's not including her fees. Her fees were also in addition to the $17,000 investigation. So, you know, I honestly wish that there was a way for people to deal with things more face to face, not go behind people's back, and to try to accomplish
Chair.
something by not costing the department all these thousands of dollars. Sit down face to face, hey, here's the problem we're having, what can we do
Does
to
she have
Do you have a
check or did
question?
she-
Excuse me,
better?
excuse me, Director, hold your tongue.
And
You have a question? Ms.
my
Davis,
question is,
you're not
why
going to
on
continue to
earth-
make a statement. You have
my
a question.
question is, and it doesn't have to be a question.
Yes,
This-
ma'am.
You're asking me, is there a discussion about
Do
these?
you have a
expenses?
question about, do you have a question? If you have
Okay,
a
I'll make it a
question,
question
form
if
the
you'd like.
question.
I'll
Form
make
it.
a question. Why on earth would our board, minus myself, approve such a large amount of money to be spent on an investigation that probably she went through emails and statements that certain people made, that's it. She didn't talk to me at all. And why would our board members, and you're the chair of the board, okay, an open-ended amount to an investigator and not say, we might spend this amount or such, and just give her an open-end, because I mean, she literally
Do
charged.
you have any other
$17,000.
questions?
So that
Do
question
you have any
is,
other questions about the entirety of the rest of the
Okay.
bills?
it's on public record, everybody heard
Do
it.
you have
right?
any other questions?
I'm looking to see, we've also paid Architect Now, which is the Aspen platform, some more, another $2,250, another $1,350.
Ma'am, this is all posted, sir. This is all
Just-
posted.
Just,
I think what would, again, behoove us as citizens, taxpayers, and myself as a board member is to see the actual money coming in for Aspen through grants, and then all of the expenses on a simple balance sheet,
Ms. Davis.
Just like-
To you.
Miss
like the financials that we get.
Ballmer,
And then I believe that everybody would be sufficed.
is there anything else?
Including
Ms.
myself.
Davis?
That's it.
Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, I'm gonna make a retort. One, I'm not going to answer your question because of potential pending litigation. But I will tell you, the entire investigation was due to you. You're the only person. So we're now going to vote on the expenditures of the $325,420 for the August 23 expenditures. We have a first and second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed to the bills within here on record. Thank you.
Let's, the motion carries. Everyone. Approval of the August 23 electronic payments for $535,000, $535,561.96. I apologize for that. But I have a first to approve that.
Make a motion to approve those electronic payments.
Do I have a second? Having a first and second, is there any discussion on those? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the pre-approval of the October 2023 electronic payments for $602,365.52. I have a motion. And first, I have a second.
Second.
First and second, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, where are those located in this packet?
No, I didn't even have it earlier, because I wrote it down, so I saw it.
Is it right before Ms. Coleman's bill or?
For the visa,
It's before the visa, it's, okay, vendors for pre-approval electronic payments, okay. That's under two, that one,
Yes, ma'am.
perfect.
All right. Not hearing any further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I,
Any opposed? And motion carries. We're now into the director's report, Ms. Lawler.
First, like to start with the mission moments. We're doing up a video. Our work in the working with opioids and drug prevention has been a big part of our work for the last few years. This past week, it was past 2 weeks ago, and drug overdose awareness day. But one of the things I wanted to bring to your attention ahead of time is a video that talks about the message of why we're doing what we're doing, and then to go into a little further detail about what we did for that particular awareness week.
Hey, listen up. Too many kids nowadays are dying from drug overdoses. What you're about to hear can save your life.
Fentanyl is a deadly drug that is being made into fake pills and mixed into other drugs to drive addiction. Just one pill can kill.
Overdoses related to fentanyl have been increasing at a rapid rate here in California, mostly among young people. These cases have been growing at an alarming rate, especially here in our community.
Fake pills with fentanyl are made to look like other pharmaceuticals. These fake pills can be easily found online and contain no legitimate medicine.
Fentanyl is also made in a rainbow of colors, so it looks like candy. It only takes a small dose of fentanyl to be deadly, such as the amount found on the tip of this pencil.
Fentanyl can cause confusion, drowsiness, and dizziness, as well as other symptoms listed on the screen, which in some cases can cause respiratory failure and lead to death.
This is my son, Alexander. He died at 14 years old from fentanyl poisoning.
This is our daughter, Jessica. She was 29 years old when she was killed by fentanyl.
This is my daughter, Alex. She was murdered at 20 years old by a drug dealer who sold her a counterfeit pill made of fentanyl.
This is my son, Daniel Joseph Puerta Johnson, killed at the age of 16 by illicit fentanyl.
This is my son.
Visit DEA.gov/onepill for more information and other resources for parents and caregivers.
If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to an adult you trust or call the county's Department of Behavioral Health Substance Use 24-hour helpline.
Please don't do drugs. We need you alive. If you're struggling with drugs, reach out and get help right away.
We have one more shoot video less than 6 months ago. I know. I know. It's very. Sorry, it takes just a minute to click between things with the live stream.
Hi everyone, my name is Jillian Bussell. I am a prevention specialist with the Jefferson County Health Department, and I was asked to speak on behalf of activities that we participated in leading up to Overdose Awareness Day, which is August 31st. The treatment court put on some amazing activities, which included, a resource night. They had a bowling night with families. Someone shared their story during a lunch and learn, and then it was an Overdose Awareness Day walk on the actual day. And at the end of the week, we got to be involved in a discussion with participants on how to make the event even better next year, and just some feedback and everything everyone got. So my involvement, I provided, resources, substance use disorder resources to the community. Was able to hand out Narcan, which was amazing, to those in need. I help to run the Jefferson County Drug Prevention Coalition, so getting information out about them, and also conversations with those in active addiction on how we can better move forward our initiatives, how to get them more involved, and their feedback on just how to make things more effective in the communities, and just learning their stories. I mean, we have some amazing people that have just unfortunately gone down the wrong path, and treating them like people, learning, what they've gone through, what obstacles they've come across, and again, just having them, allowing them to have a voice in what we're doing, which was really amazing. It means so much just to let them be heard, I guess. I have a lot of family members that unfortunately have been in and out of addiction. Some friends I've lost throughout the way, and I think everyone in one way or another has been touched by addiction, whether by friends or family. So just any way that we can work in the community together in a more effective way to decrease the stigma, let people know that it's okay to get help. There's good people out there, and we're stronger as a whole. So again, I just wanted to share, and I really am excited that we were able to participate and be involved in the amazing event, and we're already looking forward to next year's events. So thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.
I just wanted to bring attention to the amazing work that the Drug Coalition does. Please feel free to look up on our website the information on the Jefferson County Drug Coalition, as well as the ways to get involved with their activities. Moving on to strategic updates, just wanted to go over a couple of brief things that were noted in my report, letting you know that wellness unit will be placed on Gov Deals next month, where we actually were working with representatives today. We're looking at appraisal prices and determining the best strategy for that. We are also starting to investigate a new unit. We had staff attend the mobile healthcare conference this September. They'll be coming to the October board meeting with information on what they learned, but part of being at that was being able to tour multiple types of units and looking at the types of things that they could be incorporated for doing health and wellness in our community. Again, just reaffirming to the community that the wellness program is still extremely active. They're out there, they're utilizing our sprinter vans, which have been amazing to be able to continue to bring services to clients in need in the community. We're letting you know about staff recruitment follow-up. Our clinical team has been able to hire 2 registered nurses since the last meeting, which is fantastic. We're still looking for a medical assistant. The one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is I know that you have in your packets the clinical services report, but just wanted to really bring a shout out to our general clinic teams. The clinical teams, including mobile wellness, testing, our community, our office support, and nursing have all worked together to handle an extremely busy month this month with a tuberculosis incident. We have a new case, or we had a new case in August, which led to an investigation of 250 contacts that needed to have TB testing. The numbers continue to increase through discovery throughout the month. Our case investigation began on 8/17 and continues today. From this contact investigation so far, we have had 7 positive results, 4 of which have started direct observed therapy, and 2 are under further evaluation. 1 was rolled out. This has been a massive clinical response for our team that has led to numerous additional clinics being held off-site and at the Hillsborough office location to be able to test 153 people for TB during the month, on top of all of the other clinical things that they're doing. They've incorporated nights and weekend clinics to ensure that this is easily accessible to get all the contacts tested. So just a big shout out to the clinical teams for, I know they've been stretched and they continue to flex and really get the job done. There's information in here about a finance committee meeting that we had on September 5th and the personnel committee, which Mr. Deal alluded to on September 6th to review requests for the updated director's contract. You are included in this packet is information on our site visit from Vaccines for Children program, which is a program that helps to provide no cost or low cost vaccines. Okay, so no cost vaccines to children who need them. Looking at items of information, just again, bringing to your attention, I included the clinical services report. We do have a mental health provider, Providence, who shares our states in Hillsborough and Arnold throughout the month. So I included their information on the services provided by their counselor, as well as attached information from Compass, which is merging with Free. And they had information on survivors of suicide, virtual grief support groups, EMS support groups, mobile crisis response, and crisis line services. So I want to make sure that those are able to get out and people have that in the community. And that was all for my report. So I will pass things on to Gina Vidicek with the, one thing, I apologize, this is on my front of mine. The one thing, we received an email yesterday from our division director at the Center for Local Public Health Services of the state, letting us know that they are aware of the discussions around the federal government shutdown that may occur October 1st. They have expressed to us that they don't know exactly what that means is not known at this point in time, but many of the sources of funding for local public health agencies are federal sources or tied to federal sources. From Lori explains from our experience during December 2018-19, each federal agency had different circumstances and authorities to either move money around or push funding prior to the shutdown to keep as many federal programs going as possible. DHSS communicated with all contractors and partners as soon as we had knowledge of the contractor service will be impacted. They plan to follow the same procedure this time. As reference, our federal portion on average per month comes to about $196,566 in revenue per month that's coming in with federal assistance. So just wanted to let you know that we are in contact with the state. We will keep you updated as we learn more. But just, that's the final piece I have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Make a comment.
Sure.
Yes.
Kelly, just like to thank you for all the information on your report. Very thorough, lots of information. And just like to point out that a lot of the questions that keep coming up in board meetings are either in your report or in the dashboard, which is part of the board members packet that answers all their questions about funding source, revenue, and expenditures. So if people are getting the impression that this information is not available or that questions haven't been answered, I just want to point out to the public that all that information is right there.
Just starting to be available to what wasn't before, right?
You're asking questions today, Ms. Davis, and it was in our packet.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Deal?
No, thank you.
Yeah, please.
Yep, I'm Gina Vidicek, I'm the Community Services Manager, and I just have a couple updates for today. The first, also on October 1st, will be the beginning of the CDC respiratory season. The difference that you'll see is we will start having weekly respiratory updates starting probably mid the second week of August, start of October, once that full week goes through. That will include flu and COVID. We'll also have a dashboard back up on our website like we did last year. That will be a full respiratory report of those positive numbers and the breakdowns. Our mosquito season is getting wrapped up. We'll have a few more nights that they will spray before any big festivals, but otherwise we're wrapping that one up, and hopefully my next board meeting, I'll have a recap of how that season went. My last one is kind of just wanted to explain the animal bite numbers that are on the report. Animal bites end up in two different reports. I have communicable disease and environmental. The numbers in environmental, which I believe were 38 animal bite investigations for the month of August, is the correct number. Once they go through those investigations, they do get put into Webster, which is our communicable disease reporting system. But they either go in as an individual case or an aggregate number. But we're not sure how that's going to go until they finish that investigation. So there's some delay between the actual investigation, getting those numbers and getting it into Webster. So all of our historic data that is on the communicable disease report is all correct, but sometimes the current month and the last month, there's some overlay before they catch back up with each other.
Is it a possibility to put together a committee to brainstorm about what can be done in Jefferson County to lower the dog bite incidences, you know, maybe more education to the owners or something of these dogs?
Possibly. So we work hand in hand with animal control. Animal control really takes the animal piece of it and we have the people piece of it. So we normally get them after the fact. Our role is really to educate, make sure folks are aware of the risk of rabies, depending on if it's a family pet, if it can be quarantined, if it's a wildlife, and the raccoon that looks super cute that people pet and then it runs back off into the woods. Our job is really that education piece, making sure that they know to seek medical treatment if they have a wound, and then what that post-exposure vaccine can look like. But we can work with animal control on that.
I think the best thing you could do would be PSAs,
Yeah,
public service announcements, that sort of thing in newspaper.
Something on our,
When animals act strange, stay away from it,
yes.
because they're not.
How are they reported? Are they come from the hospital? Do they directly report to you, or do you get your numbers from animal control? Like, how do you come up to you?
Combination of all of it. So animal bite reporting is part of the communicable disease reportable conditions. So physicians, so the ER, if you go to your private care provider, they have to report that to the state within 1 day. A lot of times folks will call us directly to say, hey, this doesn't fit me. Animal control, if they get it, the vet, they'll give us a call. So they kind of come in from all angles.
Disease reporting and animal bites have always been problematic from a reporting standpoint because they can involve Jefferson County residents, but they can occur in other counties of the state. So when that happens, and even when they happen here, the treating facility may report it to the state, then it would have to come back to us. And as reported, people may call us directly and there has to be an investigation of that. So it takes a lot of time to sort all that out. And unfortunately, it's always been an issue as far as making sure reports are made when they're that they're received and how long it takes to get them. So,
Have any resulted in rabies, like a true rabies?
So we typically see 1 or 2 rabies positive animals per year, animals, not people. We did just have a bat that tested positive a few days ago. Yeah, I looked, there are 24 bats so far in Missouri that have tested positive this year and 2 skunks. I don't know why you had the skunk, but that's the last one I would bet.
Any other questions?
so I noticed in our report that there was a couple of individuals that had come in for some rabies series of shots. Do they still do those in the belly?
I don't believe so. Gosh, I've been out of that piece of it for a little bit. I know they've reduced the number of vaccine, but I don't believe it's in this one anymore. I think it's here in the arm and the leg. Don't quote me on that, but I never used this one.
yeah, no, they're not. And they're a lot more easy to take than they used to be. So people shouldn't be put off by worrying about how difficult the treatment would be.
Yeah.
Because rabies almost 100% is fatal.
Yes.
Anything else? No, good, right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. I had Brianne come up and then. Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask Brianne Maynard to come up and discuss the communications report, and then I wanted to just put out here if the board has questions about the dashboard that was put together at the request of the finance committee. I can have Kristen come up and answer questions.
Hello, everyone. I do not have too terribly much there in my reports. Just wanted to highlight a few of the things as far as like the community engagement pieces that we attended. Arnold Senior Expo is always a good one. Overdose Awareness Week, which you saw Jillian's video of that. There was also the Homeless and Essential Needs Outreach event, which was at the First Baptist Church in Festus. That one went really well as well. Kind of the second page there is more of the internal pieces, our workforce development plan, the public health core competencies project that we're working on, And then the last one that I wanted to kind of note was number 7, the community awareness survey. We have just launched a community awareness survey this week. I believe it was maybe Monday or Tuesday that went live. It's really just to get an awareness of what the community knows about opioid use within the county, the resources that are available, overdose information, as well as sorry, I lost my place here. Stigma, thank you, stigma surrounding the issue, and then learning more about how people are getting that information, what they know, how they know it, so that we can utilize that to inform our campaigns and our education campaigns and things like that. So that survey is going to run, we have it planned to run for a month. So hopefully through the last week of October. It's on our website. Like when you go onto the website, it's a pop-up that pops up. I've shared it on our socials a couple times. It's set to go out as a post, as an app notification through our mobile app. But I can also send, if you guys are okay with it, I can send it to the board members, like just the wording and the general information with the link or the QR code. And if you have any contacts in the county or any folks, the more people that we can get that information from, the more information we have to inform our education and things like that. So I would be happy to send that out to the board if I didn't think about it prior to standing on this podium. So I'll do that. But if you have any questions with it or anything, you can always let me know. And then of course, just the basic analytics and things are back there. And there wasn't anything too terrible that popped out as far as like what I thought. I will say though, the vaping one, if you look at the page that's most popular, I don't have numbers on my page, but under website analytics, the little colorful circle. The first one there is the vaping student resources. That's because that vaping campaign that we've been launching, we've been doing really, really great with that. We've actually stopped by. I was at KJF stations yesterday. I was talking to Kirk and he was telling us that we're getting really good impressions. You've had some of the teams that are in the coalition tell us that they've seen it, or like their friends text them and they're like, hey, we totally saw you on our Snapchat ad, so I kind of just wanted to point out that that's the number one that beats out our regular page, which like never gets beat out. So I just thought that was kind of cool that our campaign's really making an impact. And it's from the kids, right? So it's not just us, this was the kids. And I just think that's really cool. That's the former teacher in me. But otherwise, that was what I had. Does anyone have any questions for me? Cool. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions over dashboard put together? Good job, good job. You were all for the finances. The Kirsten did. In your packet is also the funding source revenue. We saw that, that's pretty extensive. And that did go out online on with the rest of us, correct?
It will be. I think we were looking to make sure, yeah, that's the funding source revenue and expenditure dashboard. We wanted to make sure that there were no changes or questions from the board before we post it. So we will post that
That's
after.
nice. I mean, nice, short, concise, to the point. I think it'll about to be easily readable, so. Very cool. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, if our entire packet could be put online.
Most of it is, it is. I think most of that packet is
Everything we're
right
seeing,
now.
they can see.
Most of this is posted with the agenda now.
We've been doing that for the last 3 months, 2 months, 3 months.
Right.
I started pushing that. I said, let's start getting this out, make sure everybody gets it.
And then we still, after the board meeting.
I mean, it takes a hustle for me to get everything out for somebody, because sometimes, sometimes you may get stuff later because they're still trying to package things together. But I kind of made it a push, said, we need to get things out on Monday, so everybody has time to digest and ask questions. That's what I'm trying to get to, where you can get your questions, all of us can get our questions answered before we come to the meeting and log the meeting down. These meetings should roll pretty quickly for the most part. All right, that brings us to the next section, which is act on the recommendations to adopt the Sunshine Law 610, the revised Missouri Code policy. We presented this in July 23, first time, and then last meeting it came here and there was a lot of questions to it, and everybody was a little ruffled. So I sent everybody home with homework and said, if you have changes, bring them forward. And now we have the changed, updated, improved sunshine policy. I know that I'm going to ask you to check, I checked on it myself. And I'll let Ms. Coleman speak to this as well, but most, I don't know anybody that I contacted that didn't have a policy. So it is best practice, best procedures to have a policy, so.
So I just wanted to remind you that we had a copying error, and so the front page of the sunshine request is
It's
in
in your
between,
packet.
it is in the packet. It's between the clinical and the community services report, and then.
This is all emailed to everybody, go.
Correct.
So you should have already seen that through the email. So this is your pack, keep going.
It's just not in the back.
Look past
The first
the
page
little,
is in the back, sorry.
there it is.
That way you could rip it out and just put it with it. It's the second to last page, it's the rest of it.
So that was in your. Keep going past all the loop now, go the other way.
This, that way.
Keep coming this way. Is that? Yeah,
That's the. That's
after this page. The first page.
It'll look like that. I find pages like I stamp checks.
So it basically got redone to, you know, coalesce what everybody had put in question marks, and I know there's some changes even put in there by you, Ms. Palmer. I might have one, I don't know if it's major or not, but I think even Ms. Coleman had some other updates in there as well. Obviously reviewing sunshine law, it's really pretty straightforward, so. Before we continue on, I just want to put that out there, so if I have a motion to approve this, we can move forward with discussions on it. Should be very few, but.
Make a motion to approve the sunshine law policy as written.
Second.
Having first and second, discussion points. And again, remember that it's already been vetted out from a week, last month, remember, so.
You know, basically, the sunshine law is right here. That's it right there, and we just need to go by this. This, according to what I'm reading, is stating that it's making it harder for people to get the request than it is here.
In what way?
Why
David?
would we
You need
want
to
to change?
please defend your statement.
Well, my personal experiences here, I did a sunshine request. It in my opinion was terribly overpriced, and then when it was produced, I received a bunch of blank papers in there and duplicates. I think that is uncalled for. I think that the person producing it should go through there and make sure that there's nothing duplicated.
You were explaining why the duplications occurred.
That's not, it wasn't, it's unacceptable.
Ms. Davis?
It was fluff,
You cannot.
but that, you know, if we just go by this, if we go by this, we don't need
So this
another policy.
So if I may,
This would make something different than that. It shouldn't be in here.
this is the reflection, Ms. Coleman, of the actual
Right, so what
state law, correct?
Ms. Davis has in her hands, the booklet that the AG's office puts out about every 2 years, that it does contain the text of the statute, which is available online as well. Through the online laws of the state of Missouri. It also has some relevant case law, just very small snippets of case law summaries. It includes a letter from the AG's office about how you can file a complaint. There's all sorts of information in that book that are not actually the sunshine law. There's some just additional material that the AG's office puts in there. So what this policy represents is the best practice of how to implement the law. The way that the sunshine law works, this is like any other statute in the state of Missouri, is it provides the floor from what you have to do, and then the individual public entity is allowed to have its own guidelines as to how to actually implement that statute. And that is what this policy does, is it sets it out, it's all in one spot. It's a, you know, we can post this, and I do recommend that we do post this on the website so everybody can see if I have a sunshine law request, this is exactly how it's going to be handled, regardless of who the requester is.
So in particular, Since we're discussing this on the third point, whereas this information will assist all trustees in the performance of their duties, and so as a
You're
trustee.
you're on the wrong page, man. You're reading the next resolution.
You weren't reading the right resolution.
This,
The paper in your right hand is the next resolution.
Take that.
this one. I do have that.
That's it. One page, one front and back. The other's the next resolution, so don't get them confused. I'm gonna move forward and call motion for a vote. This is to approve the sunshine policy, which reflects the actual sunshine law as set forth by the state of Missouri. We had a first and second on the motion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Ms. Davis, you vote.
I'll say I'm against, just because we
All right,
have the.
motion carries 3-1. Okay. Next on our agenda is to set the November and December board meeting dates. So in November, our meeting would normally fall on Thanksgiving. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I do not plan on being here. Generally, we push this forward, do we not?
Back would be better.
Okay, the 30th would be better.
Forward would, you would probably. have
How's
to know your
everybody feel?
reports.
I want everybody, how's everybody feel about the 30th? You okay?
November 30th.
You should have this on your desk.
Yeah.
November the 30th, that's the week after. Give everybody time to recover from Thanksgiving.
There should be a November and December on that desk.
I didn't have December, but that's okay. I can write it on here.
I have a previous commitment, but if I.
You have an extra one, anybody?
There was one set for the table, so there was one.
Here, you can take mine. Here,
So
take,
we're sharing it.
take it.
Okay.
I don't need that one anymore, because she'll send out an invite.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Do we need to have a motion to get this?
So is she asking for us to go towards the 16th?
We're gonna do the
rather
third,
than the
we're gonna
30th?
do the 30th,
Oh, okay.
correct?
What was the comment you made? Did you want it to the 16th or the 30th?
If we go earlier, you will not have most of your board reports.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right.
You want to make a motion for the 30th,
I'm looking for the 30th.
on November the 30th?
Yeah.
Somebody want to second that over here?
I'll second it.
All right, first and second, any further discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion carries, so that'll be on the 30th. You put that on the calendar and send us invites.
I will.
Thank you. All right. And then we, of course, we have December. The 28th is the normal, would be the normal meeting, correct?
Yeah.
And that's the week of Christmas. So this one we move up, right?
Isn't it the 21st?
So do you want to do it the 21st? Ms. Davis said the 21st. Is that okay with everybody?
Does that work for you, Kristen?
I mean, is that too close? I mean, that's, I'm sorry,
like, no.
I'm asking.
I'm looking at.
Well, I'm sure Tammy and I will be available at next week, coming in and do checks if we have to, right?
Sure, yeah.
Before Christmas or the week after? What's
Well,
better?
it's a week after. It's 28th is usually, that week is not good, right? That week's
Yeah, a
not
lot of
good.
people go on holiday.
You okay with the 21st?
21st.
Try, yeah.
Somebody want to make it, well, if we have to, somebody can,
Yeah.
I'll come in. I'm not going anywhere. All right, so we have it. So Ms. Davis, did you make a motion to do that on December 21st?
Yes, I moved that we would.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a first and second. Is there any other discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion carries. Those 2 dates are set. Make sure they're on the main calendar.
I
I
will send out
appreciate that.
invites.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the town hall meetings at the discretion of the chairperson. I know we pretty much canceled the last one for a number of reasons, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off the calendar unless there's an actual special need for one, other than just for general purposes. So if we have one that's a specific, like for the building or for something else coming up, or for maybe some educational situation that we need to do, we can do it then. Since we've reinstalled comments, public comments in our meetings, I don't see the need to have that extra stuff unless it's actually a special need for it. Does anybody disagree with that?
Are you referring to this?
No,
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to the town hall meetings.
Oh,
So it'll be at the discretion, it has been, but it will be, just that we're not gonna have any more scheduled unless we really need one for specific reasons. All right. Thoughts, questions on that? We good?
seems reasonable.
All right.
So how would you determine from a request?
I think the request would kind of generate itself, because for the most part, it's gonna be things that we're gonna generate, like the building, like we did, we did a town hall for that. I showed up, but we did a town hall for it, and we did town hall for some other things, but it was kind of, as we move forward, that necessity will determine, well, we could do it as a board ourselves. You guys could say, hey, I think we need to have a town hall, and we could have a discussion on it. But I think those will self-produce themselves through what we do here. If we see like, we're having a bunch of like rabies bites or something like that, that we need to go ahead and, hey, we need to inform the public, we could do a town hall on that. That's all right. Does that sound reasonable to everybody? All right. Moving forward, okay, now let's see, the next one is directive and update on information report from the director as designee. That's actually a directive. You should have that in your hands. I gave that to everybody last month for everybody to noodle on and chew. It's pretty extensive. So do I have a motion to place that into approve that directive?
Not sure I understand. Well, we have to wait till it's seconded to talk about it.
Well, we should.
We should. Or
That's what we're supposed to do it, yes.
Okay.
I don't even, do we have a first? Nobody wants to make a first on it, we can surely move on to another subject.
We can table it and
What we want to
study a little
do.
bit more.
I'll move to adopt the directive on update and information report.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
All right, and first, second, discussion points. Like I said, I gave this out, nobody fired anything back to me about having questions on it or any changes that I gave to everybody. Like I said, last month for everybody to review, I asked everybody to do their homework, everybody was more than happy to, but nobody come back to me with anything other than what it is.
Mr. Jimmy?
You have the floor.
I gave you some things before I left the meeting at the last meeting in concern to this, but I don't particularly see it, if any of it on here.
You gave me stuff concerns to the sunshine, which I turned in. This, nobody gave me, because there was, nobody had time, nobody looked at it. I gave it out that meeting and said, this is homework, take it home and we'll look at it. And everybody said, yes, agreed to that. It was given to you right then. You did not have time to look at it and read it,
So, Mr. Chairman,
because we moved forward on it.
in regards to this,
Yes, ma'am.
what I was asking for, and you said give to you before the meeting, so we talked about it at this meeting, was that when a trustee needs a copy of something, or instead of requesting it as a sunshine request, that we just make that request to the
That's not inside this.
keeper of record.
That's not inside this. That's a whole different discussion.
Okay.
We're discussing, this is on the Jefferson County DBA doing health as a health department directive on update and information report from the director or her designee. And it's pretty straightforward about what it is, and it's more to assist her in giving us stuff, but making sure that we're going to keep things that are confidential.
Which they're clearly, the confidential things are the things about land and real estate employees and ongoing legal matters.
I understand that very well.
We have to
Some of
hold
it,
in our head different.
I understand that, but it doesn't occur that way. Yes, sir.
And that's not entirely true. What we're talking about are things that are in process or progress, which may be ultimately different than what's stated in this report. So what we don't want folks to get is some information that's gonna be changed or not acted on at all, regardless of what it is. So if I could kind of summarize this, I would say what we're trying to do is to make sure everybody gets information as early as possible so that they can evaluate it prior to the board meeting, but that we need certain things to not go public if they could change. So that's all it is as far as I'm concerned.
Some of the information you could be getting could be months out from a vote. And it may not even resemble what we're gonna vote on by the time we get it. And for that to get disseminated out to the public before it's ready is really, that's just not a good thing. It can cause a lot of misconceptions. And bad information that's getting out, because I know it has happened, when it's like, well, something got put out with something, but it wasn't the final, and it should have went out to people, and it can cause issues that we don't need to have. In other words, the message needs to come from when it's finalized through the board here. Once it's finalized, the message comes from here. If we have bad messaging going out, because you guys want all this information, but it's got to be to the point where you understand that not everything's able to be talked about in public. And sometimes we make those mistakes, bragging because we think it's going to be good, and where it doesn't come to fruition, or vice versa, we're beating it up because we think it's going to be bad, and it really turns out to be a good thing. So we got to be careful about how we present things here to the public moving forward. It's not that we don't want the public informed, but we want them informed at the proper time when it's a completed thing for them to see, not the process. They don't need to see basically, you don't need to see the Braunschweiger being made, because most people would need it. All right. I mean, like I said, it's there, it is, and it's really holding ourselves accountable, pushing the director to keep us highly informed, more things going on. But it is there what it is. And I mean, you should have read over this because you had it last month. Nothing's changed. Questions on your part? Mr. Deal, questions on your part?
No, I think
I think it's, in my opinion, this is is aimed at me. And because and honestly, everybody here is entitled to their opinion about anything. And that's a freedom of speech protected thing. And it's sounding like confidential trustee report will revoke the trustee's ability to get such reports in the future, blah, 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 and be held in legal contempt. I'm not in agreement with that. We're here, we're elected, we're not getting paid. I think that's horrible to treat trustees this way. And I think that what we're doing is fine. I think that if a trustee is giving out information about a deal we have in place, that would be wrong. It would be wrong if a trustee has information on an employee, gives that information out. That would be wrong. We know what we can and cannot do. This is so vague. Just because she puts it in a report, we can't talk about it. It's not okay, because we're elected to represent this whole department and the people that elected us to run it in a manner that we see fit. And I'm one of five, but I see something or if it comes in a report from the director and, you know, I'm not happy about it or I'm not in agreement with it, I have the legal right through free speech to
Yes, ma'am, you do.
talk about it
But
and have my
that's also on
opinion,
the
and
other.
I don't want to be reprimanded about
That's
it.
fine, but also on the other hand, when things come to you and you say, well, I didn't hear anything about it. Well, because it's here at the end.
Well, that has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
This,
All right.
this is aimed at me,
Very-
and I don't.
It's strictly the director's report, not any other information, correct? Strictly what she would send in her director's report. So if it comes in a packet, like we'll still, everything else we talked about, but if she sends something, is there anything in her report that you would want to discuss with the public?
I have no
So
idea. If,
for-
like, you know, if she sends something saying, we're getting, our numbers are pretty bad right now, and we may be discussing, you know, going back to wearing masks. Well, first thing I'm gonna do is let everybody that I know that this is something being talked about, and
Mr. Chair,
they're gonna wanna come to meetings,
Thank you.
et cetera, et cetera. I need to be able to be free to pass on information that I feel is important to the people that elected me.
But there is a limitation to freedom of speech. So just like we've talked about how if you want to go out in the public and talk about things, you're not speaking as a representative of the board. You wouldn't have access to that information, but for the fact that you sit on the board. So whenever you then take that information, you go out in the public and you disseminate it, you're actually not complying with your duties of work.
The information
Hold on,
that
hold on,
I
hold
would
on,
share
hold on.
would be
Please,
public
ma'am,
information.
Man, it's not public yet, though. That's the whole thing. Like, for example, if there's a plan for a project that the
Okay.
director wants to give you early access to.
Okay.
You know, she's compiling a report. If she wants to get the information out to you, sooner rather than later, so you guys can chew on it amongst yourselves. It behooves you to have that information early, but that doesn't mean that what's in that draft plan is what's going to even come before the board.
If it's
And
free
hold
speech
on,
protected,
ma'am, it's
why
not
wouldn't
though.
we want the
But
public
it's
to come
not,
to the
that's
next
what you're not
meeting
understanding. I'm
and hear
trying
what
to
we're
explain
doing?
to you. So,
If it affects them?
ma'am, I'm trying to explain to you, and you keep interrupting me. It's making it really difficult for me to do my job. Okay? So if there's a draft plan and it's not yet been put in your packet, remember what goes in the packet does get uploaded to the dashboard, okay? But it's not yet in the packet, it's in draft form. Okay, and she may very well want to somebody to you to say, hey, can you give me feedback as I'm trying to make this plan so I can have some board input? That's how that communication should flow. It flows back and forth this way, not this way and then out on a draft idea.
That's fine.
Okay, and that's what this does. This says that whenever she sends you something and it's in draft form for her in preparation of her final director's report, that draft doesn't then get, you don't snap pictures of it and put it on Facebook. Go make copies of it and send it out to your church. And while you're telling me that's your free speech right, it's not. And it actually violates your obligation to not speak on behalf of the board whenever you're out in the public.
Well, why do we have to have this so that, because it's pointed at me.
I mean,
Why do we
I
have to have
don't know
this?
why sometimes you think that things are directed at you whenever they're equally applicable to everybody on the board.
There's not anybody else on this board other than myself that you guys are at. Feel like you need to have this for.
Well, Ms. Davis, the alternative is you don't get access to information until you get your director's report in your packet, which is the week of the board meeting. This allows you actually to have that information sooner so that if you want to give input, you can. The alternative is you just don't get it earlier and you don't come with as much opportunity to be informed.
So don't complain if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it long enough. You complain about that constantly,
Well,
and
if you
that's
can
why
take-
we're
That
trying.
maybe some of this is good, but some of it is not. So we need to take out further any release of information by a trustee to anyone wherein the information is obtained through confidential trustee report will revoke the trustee's ability to get such report in the future, and they may be held in legal contempt. Only if I'm releasing legal information.
No,
I'm not-
ma'am. No, ma'am, the legal information is not gonna go out in that anyway. It's not gonna go, like,
No,
my
that's-
invoices are not gonna
that's
go
right
out.
here, That's not gonna be part of it. I'm fine with that putting it in place.
I say, let's don't.
You want to rescind your motion or you want to vote on it? I'll leave that up to you.
Can we table this for another month? Can we do that?
We'll table it for another month.
Another option that you have, just so you know, because you made the motion, right? That's it.
I hope so.
Okay. Then if Ms. Davis asked you to amend this, you have the ability, since it is your motion, to amend your motion to redact any portion of this that you see fit. Otherwise, it goes to a vote as it is, votes up or down. If it fails, then at that point, then Ms. Davis would have the opportunity to make another motion to approve it with a certain portion redacted.
I have the Dennis made the motion.
I'm sorry.
I have the Dennis made the motion.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I think I just said to her.
Yeah, no.
I apologize.
I would like to know,
This just sounds very controlling.
I would like to know, and it's just around the director's report, it's not any of the other information.
Correct.
So if there's something going on, if it is mass, hey, we need to talk about it, or anything of that nature that's going on, we wouldn't know till almost the final leg of it. With this, we just have to say, you know, she's wanting to give us some information. I would rather know sooner than later.
Well,
And that's the only thing you can't discuss with the public. Not any of the packet, it's just stuff that she would say in preliminary form.
But with something like this, I have to always be looking over my back. Like somebody's gonna take something I said and say, well, that was maybe I didn't see it in the director's report. And I was talking about it, just for example. And then now I got that coming back at me because, well, you know, that was in the director's report. I'd rather that not be in place, just because you have to worry about what you say. You know, we could be in conversation somewhere and be talking about a particular thing that's going on, that we'd like to see done in the health department, whatever. And it got back to the wrong person, and well, you know, this was in the director's report. So, you know, you're not gonna get those anymore. It's treating one person different than another.
No, it's not. It's treating everybody's name's on here to sign this, by the way. I put this together because the last couple meetings, you all felt that things were not being given to you, didn't have the information. And I'm like, okay, well, here's a way to ensure that this gets taken care of.
Give it to us, we're, you know, we're
There's no
grown ups, we can handle it.
Ms. Davis, I'm not gonna even address that. So either Mr. Deal, you wish to rescind yours or you want to vote on it? Leave that up to you. Apologize for that one.
I'd like to vote on it, but I have no problem,
Hold until next meeting.
tabling it.
All right, we'll table it to next meeting.
And if Miss Davis's biggest concern is the one paragraph, talks about repercussions. You know, if she wants to reword that, or if anyone else does, that's fine. But I think she's taking this in totally the wrong spirit, and you know, we're trying to address issues that people have brought up. And it's getting a little frustrating that when we try to do that, then people are against it. So I'm not sure how to deal with people's criticism when they won't accept ways to
But that's people's prerogative to have their opinion and to
Yes,
feel
it
the
is.
way they feel.
Are
and we
you,
have no
are you
control.
saying nothing we do should be kind of?
So I'm gonna stop this right here because.
Only
Hold on, excuse me.
what this says.
I will say this, and I want to make this perfectly clear. Ms. Davis, you came unprepared for this meeting. This was given to you over a month ago. You made no comments about it. You sent me nothing forward. You came unprepared for this meeting. You have to be prepared to come to these meetings when you're given things to be prepared for. So please make sure in the future you are prepared. The next one is, so we're going to table this till the next meeting. Let's see.
Do I need
Act
to-
on, pardon me, sir?
Do we need to do anything else?
No, you withdraw your motion.
The next one is to act on another resolution And this resolution is resolution regarding enacting, adopting resolutions, policies, and procedures, and or ordinance governing the Jefferson County Health Center. This is something that's been kind of on my pipeline for a long time. And I put it together, obviously, had others look at it. But this is basically saying that our resolution, that we're gonna have basically a 2 read on them instead of just a 1 read. We can always suspend that rule for emergencies at any time. Somebody can make a motion to suspend that rule. It's only necessary for us to have 1 read on them. But I think having a second one, the second one, it can't be any less than 24 hours. Of course, unless there's an emergency of some sort, which I can't.
If there's an
Think of too
emergency,
many
if
emergencies.
there's an emergency, you need to specify in the agenda what you're proposing,
Right.
and specify as to why it's an emergency. You're not gonna have to have a second read.
Right.
And I would encourage.
It'll be just a suspension of the rules, basically.
Right, and so that way, whenever you get your board packet, you're gonna be able to tell, hey, this is a policy, or this is a resolution, but this is when we're actually gonna do vote on, so I need to come prepared to talk about it.
Similar to what we did with this one. You know, these two, I sent you home with homework. We didn't vote on it then, but we could have as a first read. So we'll have to change kind of how the resolution looks like a first and second, so forth. But I just think I think it'll be a better policy unless there's an emergency of some sort. And that could, I don't even want to sit there and go through the range of things it could be. We'll just leave that as an emergency.
Mr. Vic, I just think it should be, the second read should be at the next meeting. And it should be no big rush, no special meetings.
There's always things that.
Special meetings are very expensive.
Okay, so there's always things that are gonna come up. That it may require us to act faster than that. And there could be a litany of things. So again, I could go through one of one, it could be just, you know, a lawsuit occurs of some sort. We need to act on doing something there. Special meeting over maybe potentially personnel matter. You know, we've been there and done this before. So no matter what, I don't want to criteria that it is what it is. We have them, I put them in 24 hours. But if something would happen, we can always suspend the rules because it's our prerogative from the first point. But I'm trying to put some caveats and some parachutes in here a little bit. Because of some of the things have been said, so here we are. I'm making some concessions here, so I would appreciate we just move forward on this.
And also, it does not apply to all board action. This applies to policies, resolutions, ordinances, the types of big documents that you're approving.
Right.
Like, for example, if you were to move to terminate somebody, that wouldn't be a resolution. It would be a motion. There doesn't need to be a second read on that.
You know, and it wouldn't, you know, it's not gonna take anything about the pay or our minutes, none of the pay ordinances.
I'm gonna give you an example, why we need to wait a minimum of the next meeting. We, earlier in a couple, 2-3 years ago, we literally amended the bylaws. A lot of things took place in a very short time, as far as the public was concerned, and how nice it would have been to, like the council does, read everything in full out loud on record, and then
And they don't do
let
that.
everybody chew on it, and then the very next meeting, it's
That
read
is-
again.
That is actually what was done. So the way that was done, and I know there's been a lot of misinformation about this, so I'm glad that you brought that up. There was a draft bylaw revisions. We went into closed session because I was giving you attorney-client privileged advice as to the purpose behind the revisions. It was then brought up at the next meeting as to whether or not you wanted to accept the revisions. It was tabled to give you some more time to look at those proposed revisions, and then it was approved for the following. So there are actually 2 readings of the bylaw amendments before they were approved.
All right, so I want to move back onto this. I need a first to continue to discuss this on the act on the resolution. I have a first to approve this. Make a motion to approve this.
Well, I don't have that in front of me, it's not in my
Yeah,
cabinet.
you do. You showed it to me just a minute ago.
Oh.
It's on the back of the other one.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's that one, no,
That one?
Yeah.
flip it over. That one right there.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution. What's the number?
What number we're gonna have on the resolution,
Is
please?
23-09-28-01.
Okay.
To approve that resolution.
2309280 So I have a first, I have a second. All right, first and second. Is there any other further discussion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend your motion.
You can't,
But you can't have.
Who's got the motion?
Mr. Deal.
I'd like to.
He's the
amend-
only one that can amend.
Mr. Deal, I'd like for you to be one to amend the motion that we wouldn't wait 24 hours, but we would wait longer
It's a
until the
minimum.
next meeting, because it costs a lot of money to do special meetings, and there's not anything we're gonna die over unless he said it's an emergency. Giving the public time to hear about
If
it,
you read this, Ms. Davis.
digest it, they wanna come to a meeting, they can.
It's very flexible. It's a minimum of 24 hours.
Right, well,
So
let's
if
make
you-
it a minimum of 30 days.
You're talking about a maximum, not a minimum. I mean, this is very flexible. It doesn't interfere with the way you want to do things unless there's unusual or emergency situation.
This could cause us to have more special meetings. Special meetings, I got it in my thing here, costs us a lot of money, it costs us over $3,500 to have a special meeting. I mean, by the time you get everybody here, all the employees, the attorney, people talk back and forth to each other, it's expensive to have a special meeting. Why would we want to make this to where we have to have a special meeting?
Mr. Deal.
Why not to have it at the next meeting?
You wish to make an amendment.
I have no idea what kind of an amendment.
So there's no amendments or anything else you'd like to discuss, Ms. Davis?
I'm asking for an amendment to a
He's-
minimum of,
He's not gonna make an
30
amendment.
days.
He's not gonna make an amendment.
and I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, well, fine, that's fine. You can vote no. You can go back to the other date where you'll just get it the day of. Having a first and second, is there any other discussion? I'm sorry. No. Mr. Deal, is there any discussion from you?
As I said, I don't think this creates the problem that is being brought up, and it's very flexible. I have no problem.
I think a
It actually-
resolution is an important item. We should wait.
Well.
We'll read it twice, like you said, but read it at the next meeting.
Ms. Davis, you can't be satisfied with this compromise.
This
I'm
is what
sorry.
the council does.
Well, the council is not this body.
It's a pretty wise way to do it.
I don't know. There can be quite a few people that disagree with that. So I have a first and second. All in favor of passing this resolution, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Everyone, motion carries.
didn't hear Tammy vote.
Motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is, according to mine, is entertaining any topics of limits of 3 inquire to the next agenda, requiring another motion to put it on there. So do I have anything for the next agenda by anyone? All right, not hearing any, I'll move on forward to there. I know the next part is public comments. Mr. Liederbrand, you showed up late. Would you like to have step forward and make I didn't want to go. A public you're fine. Okay. You're fine. Go ahead. You know, Mr. Liederbrand, would you give him a card or did you give him a card? Do you have a card to fill out? Okay, when you get done, just fill it out. Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. My name's Alan Liederbrand. I live at 5062 Romaine Spring Drive. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. Unfortunately, I couldn't get here. 4 o'clock's a little early. I saw on the tax, it would be nice in the future if you could add the pro forma document that you actually sign and sends to, the state auditor approves and everything. Because I didn't know, the numbers you gave were fine that you put in the packet, but you can't calculate out. So I didn't know if you went, it looks like you went with the same tax rate, but because the CPI was about 5%, you could take the amount up to 5%. So you could have possibly increased the amount of tax that you taxed everyone. I'm not sure I'm for it. But
basically what we do is, when the state of Missouri sends it this, we do exactly what the state of Missouri gives us is what we enact.
But
we don't do anything more.
Yeah, but then what was the percentage that of increase? Okay.
Pardon me?
There was not an increase, it was the same as last year.
You have to say.
No. What was the percentage? Because the amount, because the increased assessed valuation and everything, you're getting more tax, so that's a percentage of what you increase over the previous year. And since that wasn't put in the public.
I just know that the tax rate is the same as it was last year.
And that's fine, you can do that. I was just asking, in other words, for the pro forma, it tells you. If you can, I get a copy of it, that would be great.
I don't know if you have.
I don't have it right now. She took
Okay.
it.
So anyway, if you would add that in the packet, that would be great for next year. Give us a lot of information.
Okay.
And would have answered a lot of my questions. Second, I never heard apparently in the future on the agenda about when you're going to do something like the Aspen wasn't put on the agenda, it was intellectual property.
Yes.
If there was a topic, actually, what you were going to be discussing would be nice on the agendas in the future. Also, I never heard, I'm sorry, I never heard, was there ever put out for bids? Because normally if you're going to sell something or something you ask more than one group possibly might have been interested. So I didn't see anything on that. And also it was over $1 million in IP value. What is Jefferson County gonna get for that? Other than what I heard is that the new group's going to charge school districts, which is fine if you're outside Jefferson County. But shouldn't the people of Jefferson County get some type of free service or for a period of time in exchange for over $1 million? Even though it was grant money given to the Jefferson County Health Board and for the residents of Jefferson County. And so it looks like now the residents of Jefferson County are not going to get any free benefits from that. So I just was hoping you would address that. And then my last question would be is, with the flu season coming up and all this, what's the board's position on mask and mandatory vaccines and stuff? So wait to hear for your answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have a closed session.
No closed session. All right. So is there a motion to adjourn?
A second.
All right. Having a first second, is there any other discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.